is a good week.
Oh,
This is an amazing week. What up, Tube?
what up, Tube?
And look at that. We're not even wasting any time at all. We're
jumping right
jumping
into it, huh?
into it. Here
Hasn't
we
even
go.
warmed up.
Didn't even warm up. La 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 la. Was that enough of a warm up? I was kind of doing a
Boots and cats
here
and
we
boots and
go
cats and boots and
again
cats and
on
boots and cats and boots and
my
cats.
own. All right, that's enough.
Tiger
of that.
face. Ooh, lion face. Lemon face. Sorry, not lion.
Ready for this?
Tiger face.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? SHIT. So happy it's Thursday. Hernan C is here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
The insurance bro, James C. is with Pipeline Insurance, full of energy, full of love, full of positivity for you.
ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock it and roll it.
All right, ladies and gents, let's cut to the chase. 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. If you got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. We have 100 pairs to reach that goal. So if you guys got shoes, you want to hit us up, you want to get James to hop on his motorcycle, ride out, pick them up, throw them on a saddlebag. Maybe you got 37 plus shoes that you want to pick up. Either way, hit James up 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. He also does insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Insurance.
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 You guys can get your homeowners quoted, your auto, your life, your business, workers' comp, whatever it is that you need to do.
Whatever you got.
Or maybe you want to add insurance into your business so that you can
That'd be a
increase your
good
bottom
idea.
line. Maybe have a new reason to talk to clients on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
regular basis, keep in contact, and get basically have another pipeline to increase the revenue in your business. Hit James up 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com for all your pipeline insurance needs.
Yeah.
And dronequote.net
Quote.
/business bros. That's where you need to go to get all your solar done. It's pretty quick. By the way, they don't actually install your solar. That's not where you're going. Why you go to them? You go to them so that they come out with a drone, measure your rooftop. They send it out to all the top leading solar companies, all the roofer companies, so that you sit back and look at the quotes, pick the one that works for you, get solar installed so that you can take advantage of this beautiful sunny San Diego weather, make some money off it just for being here. Besides, you live in San Diego, your taxes are really high. Might as well use the sun to get some of that money back. Dronequote.net /business bros.
Boom.
Woo.
Easy day. All right, I'm going to surprise you now.
Oh, okay. You got questions? We got answers.
Yeah, I got questions. We got answers. You got questions. You got answers. Whatever. Tonight, in about 45 minutes or so, we are having our monthly team corporate partner meeting
For Pipeline.
for
Yes,
Pipeline
sir.
Insurance.
For PTSD,
So,
anyways.
for PTSD, right?
Pipeline
right,
Training
right.
Servicing Department or Pipeline Team San Diego.
Whichever one of those you want to call it.
Yep.
So,
We are
what are
just a
some
few
big
minutes away.
things that you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about positioning you, by the way.
Positioning me. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, we've been talking about setting things up so that we can build systems in place to make sure people come in on a regular basis and have a systematic way of doing things, right? You've pretty much built a personalized system so that when an agent comes in, we have everything from orientation all the way through training, home and auto, all those different things so that they're up to speed, so they know what they're doing, so they know how to get out there, right?
Right.
But Jimmy and I were here talking before you got here, obviously, and we were talking about repositioning James to start doing the same type of thing on the commercial side. So we're going to reposition you a little bit. At least that's the pitch that we're going to make for today's meeting. We'll see how that goes. The other thing is implementing a marketing strategy for our agents that come in, whether this is going to be before the orientation part or this is right after the orientation part of our training process. It's basically a system where we have some stuff that we want to automate, like how to prepare your sales pitch, your sales presentation, that sort of stuff. You can watch videos and learn that sort of stuff. But then there are other things that we want to make sure our agents do, and it's kind of hand-holding, right? Because what we've learned, we've had, I don't know how many agents, over 300 agents come through our agency, and it's a sales job. So what happens with a lot of salespeople, you see it in real estate, you see it in insurance, you see it all over the place. When agents come through and they think just because they have a license, they're going to automatically get business, like the business is going to magically show up to them. They don't meet their quotas because they don't really know what it takes to be a salesperson. They don't have anybody really training them on the sales side, goal setting, how to move people across from prospect to, setting the appointment, that sort of stuff. And so we want to start implementing something along those lines. So we want to template something that we can do. So we want to create a 90-day action plan that they can have. We want to be able to monitor their calendar. We want to use Pipedrive to take all their contacts, throw them into a prospect list, and then have our administrative team, which is, essentially we're going to have Corey moving positions here as we replace him, to start to be able to track. In other words, right now your job at the agency is very much reactive as opposed to proactive. You're also spending a lot of time, like we talked about, working in the business, not working on the business.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's reactive and not proactive.
Right. That's why it's reactive and not proactive. So we want to put steps in place and put positions in place so that we can have you working more on the business than working in the business. And one of those things is, and the problem is, we've brought in a number of people and the book is increasing, but not at the rate we want it to increase, right? The results that we're showing are not to the level that we expected them to be. So we want to make sure that one of the reasons is, we have a couple agents that are not producing to the level that we want them to produce at. So how do you fix that? Right? How do you provide the support that an agent needs so that they can take their business to a new level?
Right.
And so that's the questions that we really want to ask. That's where a 90-day action plan, it's basically the 3-month quota that we already have in our contract, but taking it one step further and hand holding them to get to the next level. So, getting their Pipedrive set up. By the way, Pipedrive is a sales tool, right? It's bringing all their contacts from their phone numbers. We load them up into prospects, and then we have different categories. So as you talk to this particular person, we'll know when was the last time you talked to them. We'll know whether you converted them into a potential lead. We'll know whether you sent them into an appointment. We know whether, we can track the entire sales process, and we'll be able to do that for each one of our agents and have an overview of what they're doing. So the sales manager in our team can see exactly what's going on in their in their day-to-day activity. And the whole idea is, when you were in school, Jimmy said this the best way, by the way. He said, when you were in school, if you knew your homework or your project was due on Tuesday, you would probably crunch and get it done, but you would get it done.
Yep.
Right? And that's the same.
You might be staying up till 2:00 in the morning Monday night, but yeah, you'd get it done.
Right? So the same mentality goes for if we have our sales manager looking, at least maybe not always watching, but looking at what progress they've done to this point. If they can see the sales cycle and they can see, look, you've spent this last week, you've made 2 calls. Well, of course, this is your result. Let's, we're going to be meeting on this day. Let's make sure that you reach your call quota, or you've talked to this many people, or whatever it is that we're going to do. It's a little bit of, lighting a fire under their butt to just help them be accountable for what it is they wanted to do. They wanted to get into insurance. Yeah. So if you want to get into the business, let's help you do the things you need to do to be successful in this business. Same thing we do for real estate agents, brokerage, successful brokerages, successful trainers, successful coaches in real estate do exactly that. They help you achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. You may not know what you need to do, so we show you how to do that. Then you know what you're supposed to do, but you're not taking the steps to do that. And we're there just to light a fire under your butt to make sure that you're taking the necessary steps to be successful. You see that in every industry. You see that in sales. You see that in personal fitness. You see that in teaching. You see that in being a student. You see that every single aspect of life, that where if you set a goal for yourself, you might know where the goal is, but if you're not doing the work, it's kind of difficult if nobody's there holding your hand to help you be accountable. Some people find that inner drive. It's the best way to do it, right? If you find that inner drive because that's what you want to achieve and you're doing it because that's what's fueling you to get to the next level, those people are going to reach the most success. But it doesn't mean that the people that don't have that inner drive can't get it from somebody else. And we want to make sure that we're doing that. We want to, help control their calendar a little bit, show them when these training events, set their schedules up for their particular weekly or biweekly meetings so that we can track what they're doing and help them get more money, right? Help them make more deals, help them help more people. Because that's ultimately what this is all about.
It is.
This is ultimately what it's all about.
It's really all about helping others create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow.
Exactly. So
I love it.
That's mainly what, if you guys can't see this, but it's mapped up on our whiteboard over here. We were talking about the two different things. It really is.
I didn't even see that when I walked in here.
Well, and as you can see, the personal line side, the personal lines insurance, this is your home, your auto, right? Your the small stuff that we have, our own little umbrella policies, those sorts of things. That stuff is pretty mapped out. You've done a really good job of, we have all the pieces. We might rearrange how the pieces are done, but all the pieces are there. That's a good thing. On the commercial side, well, there's pieces. They're just not as organized as we want them to be. And so that's where, the organizational master is going to have to come in and start to work that process. That would be you, James. So what do you think? What did you have planned for this meeting for in a few minutes that we're going to be having?
Well, the only couple of things that were on my agenda was our outsourcing company that we've been using, StaffBoom, deciding whether or not we're going to continue. They're going to make a pitch to, maintain that relationship. I know for a fact that we have to keep it around for at least some time while we transition with the new employee that we're going to bring on. But the new employee is going to add a lot of capabilities, I think. Who knows? They might be able to handle everything that that StaffBoom has been handling, and then some. We'll see. My worry is, that we load this person full with, everything that StaffBoom does, and they actually can't keep up.
Yeah, that might be. But I think we'll survive. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? What has your experience with outsourcing? Like, what have you learned? What have you gained? What did you, is there anything that you would do different? Is there, would you have not done it? Tell me your experience with outsourcing.
Yeah. So, outsourcing has been a really interesting experience. It really has. For one thing, probably the biggest lesson I've learned is handle the phones in-house. Find ways to handle the phones in-house. Now, we haven't handled the phones in-house because we just... Our support structure has not been built for that, which is a glaring hole in our business structure, which is one of the things that we're trying to solve, with the new person coming on board. So having the outsourcing company, or at least if the outsourcing company is that far away, for us it's in the Philippines, answering the phones, that might not be ideal. Now, there is another outsourcing company that I heard of at the last convention that I was at, where they're actually based right 20 minutes down the way in TJ. And so the folks that are based out of there are actually native English speakers because they either lived or still live here in the U.S. So, that's a whole different story. If it's that close and the
the demographic is better.
The demographic is better, exactly.
So, yeah, I understand that.
Yep. So that's one of the things that I've definitely learned. There's been a lot of really good things that have come from having this company on board. Some of the things that I've learned, some of the greatest lessons I think that I've learned have had to do with job description and management. So one of the things that I had to do early on in setting these folks up to do work was to train them how to do it. And the way that I trained them how to do it was to create videos on what I was doing. And they went and created, they would have the staff watch the videos, and then they would create what they called job aids, which is a Word document with screenshots and descriptions of what to do. So first you get the video, you watch the video, you learn how to do it, and then you get this guide of step-by-step process reminding you of how to do it. So I thought that was supremely valuable.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a skill that you can take on to future trainings, right? So it's something that, let's say, for example, as we start to add more staff, rather than trying to one-on-one train every single person, now we have a way of creating something that is more automated, so that they learn a general process at using some sort of system, whether it's video or PDF or whatever. But then after that, they have the support right there in the office. So you as a manager are not necessarily hand holding them all the way through from the beginning to the end, but you're there supporting them. Once they've seen it, they understand it, and now you can clarify questions as they go along. And it's a little easier than having, just the manual. You're right there,
Right.
right next to them, being able to answer questions, or Corey or anybody else, Angelica or whatever. Anybody in the office can help answer those questions.
Yep.
So what else? What about, okay, so answering the phones, not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea if they are so far, especially if you're a small business. If you're a small business, customers expect more of a localized response. And we are a small business. So for us to be having somebody overseas answering the phone, it's impersonal. And so that's definitely something that that was a big stepped in doo-doo maybe a little bit.
Or let me ask you the question that I always ask at a meeting. Based on what we spent, which is about $3,000 a month for the last
8 months, so $24,000, give or take.
Was it worth $24,000?
I think that's the funny thing is that's actually the case that they are going to try to make today. Now, if you're asking me, is it worth $24,000? Because I'm not convinced that it is. I mean, my hesitation should be enough of an answer.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Well, here's what it comes down to, and for the listeners out there, whenever you're working with anybody in a business, like we've partnered up with people who are smarter than us, especially in different areas of business, because we want to make sure that our business grows. But when we make a decision like this, and here's the honest truth, is James pitched using the staffing company to help grow what we were going to do. And it was at the point in our company where we were deciding we're ready to grow. We're ready to add these positions. How do we best move forward? Right. And so this was the option. And so we tried it. Right. We gave it a shot, and we gave it, 100% shot that we wanted to. And now we're at the point where we're assessing the result.
Right.
Right. And in any business that you're in, you're going to try things and you're going to see how they work. Now, the biggest thing that the advice that I can give anybody is you're going to sit there with your partners in the room, and you're going to have to justify whether or not your decision was a good decision.
Yep.
And it's funny because at that point, there's two things that can happen. One is you can take a very personal offense to your decision and just,
which I've done in the past.
Yeah,
I react emotionally sometimes.
You do. But what I want to make sure that at least our listeners understand is be weary of holding on to a project because it was your idea versus the results.
Versus
right?
a good idea.
Versus a good idea. It's okay to try things and to implement, but when we look at the results and we see the results may not match up with what we're doing, it's okay to change your mind, right? It's not a personal attack on anybody. It's just a direction of the company we tried, and if it didn't work out, or maybe bits and pieces if it did, right? We did get things out of it.
We got a lot of
positive things that came out of it.
So, but let me put it this way. If you're asking me, and I did hesitate, to answer the question, and I think part of the reason is because I honestly haven't given it enough thought. But as I sit here and think about it, $24,000 is not someone's full year salary.
No, but it's a good chunk of change.
It's a good chunk of change for sure. We had 2 people working for us at all times. We had a lot of turnover, granted, but we had 2 people working for us at all times. We got to learn a new way of systemization. We got to learn how to implement different trainings and systems, and how to teach people, these different ways of doing things. The things that I've learned from working with this company, with Staff Boom, have been very, very valuable. Is it worth $24,000? Maybe, because the next person that comes in is now going to have those pieces in place, so that when we train them, the training time is going to be cut way down, like way down. Now, if we had spent, let's say, the past 8 months that we spent with Staff Boom, we would have spent more than $24,000
on an employee.
Between payroll, workers' comp,
taxes,
insurance, all that stuff, right? How much do you think we would have spent in the last 8 months? 36 maybe?
Maybe. Yeah,
somewhere around there. So we would have spent, $12,000 more, and we would not have learned the structure and, systems that we learned from working with this company. This company gave us a lot of value through that at the very least. There's a lot more that they've provided with the monthly reporting that we look at, every month. Just being on the phone with them today, they're prepping for this meeting too. In May, our 2 personnel, this was 3 months into our agreement, by the way, in May, we were utilizing them at 17% capacity. And this past month, we were up to 84% capacity. So that's a lot of growth. That's a lot of usage that we've gotten from them. And now, when we're talking about transitioning all of what they do to one person in-house, we're really talking about 150 hours worth of work that they've done to transfer that to one person, and still hopefully have enough time for that person to grow and learn even more than just the basic data management things that they've been doing.
It's funny, man. And for those of you who are, intrigued about this stuff, this is where the decisions have to be made, right? This is where we're deciding, are we taking a new path? Are we going, well, obviously we're taking a new path, but are we stepping away 100%? And is this the best fit? And the truth of the matter is, we don't actually know the answer to that. This is still going to be yet another test, yet another avenue within what we're doing to try to achieve our ultimate goal, which is to provide our agents with the best support staff possible, so that they can be as productive as possible, so that they can earn enough revenue. That's the ultimate goal. We want to be able to provide that support. So every single time we make a choice like this is the conversations that we end up having in our meetings. Everybody's trying to justify the choices that they make, and yet we still want to make sure we stay to our agenda and we focus our attention on where we want to go.
Yep.
Right. Every decision we make has to have our vision in mind, has to be in the benefit of our agents that are coming on board. We want a smooth onboarding process. We want a great servicing department to help support them, and having those things in place requires us to make these kind of decisions. And that's business. Right? We still maintained a profit throughout this time.
We have.
Could we have been more profitable? That's always what we're looking at, right?
That's always what we're looking at. And I mean, as business owners, that's what we're always looking at, is to increase that bottom line.
Because that's what it's all about.
That is.
Your purpose in business is to be of service to others, but your business's purpose is to make a profit. So you always have to make sure that stays in line. You have to maintain your profitability as much as possible, right? And grow it as big as possible. And that's really what it comes down to. We understand that if the agent is successful, if the agent makes a ton of money because they're doing a job correctly, they have a sales presentation that they've mastered, they have a calendar set, they have a schedule that they work with, they have leads that they're processing, they know actually what to do with them. If we can help them be successful, we're going to be very successful. That's the entire goal. That's how you get rich. Help as many people reach their goals as you possibly can. And then we'll get ours. That's it. That's why, that's a big part of the reason why, it's so important for me, that part of my why, where I'm helping others, empowering others to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow. It's like, I'm helping you reach a goal that maybe you don't even realize that you have yet. But when it comes right down to it, we all want to leave something behind for our legacy. Mm-hmm. And that's where I want that's what I want people to do. That's what I want to help people with. So yesterday, having gone to that exit strategy planning lunch and learn, that was super powerful. Just looking at the different things. So I mentioned it yesterday. First, identifying the value of your business. Second is protecting the value of your business. Third is
building the value of your business, and then the fourth one was harvesting the value of your business. And now I can't remember what the fifth one is, but I remembered the fourth one.
You got to 4.
I got to 4. I got to 4. But I mean, all of these things are things that business owners should be thinking about. Is, you know, making sure that you have the pieces in place so that if you ever want to walk away from the business, you can. The statistics that I was looking at is 30% of all businesses, only 30% make it to the second generation.
Wow.
I think it was like 16% make it to the third generation, and something like 3% make it to the fourth. So as I'm sitting here thinking about it, people can't see it right now, but over your shoulder there is a Mike Russ Financial Training Center's poster, and I started writing this down. Second generation, Jimmy. Third generation,
Brian.
Isaiah and Natasha.
Oh,
Brian?
Isaiah and Natasha.
Isaiah.
Brian
Brian
is
third generation also then, yeah? Who's the fourth?
Right.
We don't know. But I mean, looking at it that way, 30% make it to the second generation. All right, they made it to the second generation. Is it going to make it to the third? Is it going to make it to the fourth?
Well, they got good systems in place.
They definitely do.
That's crucial to the success of any business, is having the systems in place, right? Compiling a database, being able to sell to that database, bringing value to that database, increasing the database. It's really what it comes down to, is those metrics. Do you have those metrics in place? Do you have that kind of information? Are you selling information to that database that makes sense? Are you showing them that? So,
these are things absolutely true, and it is going to make that business, Mike Russ, something that I believe can be passed on generation to generation to generation. And, one of the things that they talked about really early on is, if the business is ultra dependent on the business owner to operate, then it's not scalable and it's not sellable. And Absolutely. It won't survive.
It won't survive. Look, in class, I told you that the kids are building businesses, right? And so the problem is, it's school. So yeah, they might be happy about building a business. Yeah, they might be cool about making some money, but they're also really trying to focus on their grade. And so today we were talking about the corporate structure and writing out a business plan for these corporate structures. They already had their products approved and stuff like that. So I had to explain to them that how much they make in this business is not going to be the measuring factor on whether or not they get an A, for example, right? So if a group has a great product and they got lucky with this great product and they make a lot of money, well, that's great because they get to split the profits. But if they skipped out on a lot of the building the business plan and building the business structure and putting the systems in place, then that grade is not going to be as good as the team that put the systems in place but didn't sell as much. Because what I really want to come across to them is, yeah, you might have gotten lucky and got a good product, but that business is solely dependent on you. You're going to make a good living as long as you're working, but as soon as you want to take a vacation, your paycheck is taking a vacation with you. And so I want to expose them to actually building a true business, not building a job. Right. And so that's kind of when you're thinking about your business, whatever it is that you're working on right now, whether you're in real estate, insurance, whatever it is, are you building a system so that you can walk away and your paycheck doesn't walk away with you? If you can build that, then you're doing the right things.
That's it.
That's exactly and don't get me wrong. It's still going to require that you do a lot of stuff yourself. Absolutely. Especially when you're getting started. You are the chief cook and bottle cleaner. You're the one doing everything.
Yep.
But how long is that sustainable? How many years forward can you be doing that? If you stick to that, you're only as good as your last sale. You're only as good as your last close. If you work progressively on your business, you're going to build a system where you're not dependent on that last sale. The system operates itself and you're making enough money. And sometimes, guess what? You risk $24,000 in 9 months or 8 months, and you make a decision that maybe wasn't the best one, but you learn from it, you modify, you adapt, and you continue to move forward in the process.
Modify and adapt.
Right?
I love it.
All right.
It's what we do.
It's what we
do as business owners. It's what we've always done. One of my favorite things about stuff like, what do you call it? Business plans is that we call them living documents.
You can change.
Because they can always change.
They alter, they
because
grow, they get
should
better.
change.
They should. They're not,
Goals always change. The more you start to make money, right, the more that things actually, they have to change. We always talk about, or Bob has always talked about, our two money problems, right?
Yeah.
Not enough money and too much money. When your business starts making too much money, that's a separate problem, and you have to have strategies to fix that. So,
well, it's like I heard I don't know who said this one, but they're like, if you were given $1 million, you better become a millionaire real quick, or you're
Right.
gonna lose that $1 million. Right. And what they're trying to say is the person who you are, if you are an individual who is only known how to spend money, given money, all you're going to do is accelerate the amount of money you spend. But unless you become the person who knows how to make money, to earn money, given money, you will earn more money. It's the story of the prodigal son, right?
First million is always the hardest.
First million is always the hardest to make. So, if you got lucky and won the lotto, that's why lotto winners 3.5 years later broke. NFL players, pro athletes, 3.5 years after they got their last paycheck, broke because they've never learned to earn. They've only known how to spend.
Yep.
So, just a little lessons for the day. We're getting ready to have our meeting, so hopefully you guys got a little bit out of it, get a glimpse into what we do on a regular basis, and more. This is a more real show because we're very raw with what we're doing. So if you guys ever have any questions, especially when it comes to insurance, hit James at
Ask the Bros.
619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. All your pipeline insurance needs. We're putting these systems in place so we can help you add insurance into your business. That's the best way to make more money, is to add another income stream. So if you're interested in adding insurance into your business, 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. DroneQuote.net/business bros is where to go for your solar needs. Stop shopping solar the old fashioned way. Jump on board. Do it the right way. It's easy. Don't let people walk all over your roof, destroy your tiles or anything like that. Have DroneQuote help you out. DroneQuote.net/business bros for all your solar needs. And of course, if you guys got shoes, we need 100 more pairs. 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. New shoes, used shoes, or if you want to donate cash. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Spread that positivity, ladies and gents. Bye, Facebook.
Boop, boop, boop.